We Charity agreed to help. That's what charities do. They help where that is needed. We didn't advise the Prime Minister and Mr. Bono not to recuse themselves. We never prorogued Parliament. We're not involved in the decision to filibuster the committee this fall. This is a political scandal for the government, not We Charity. The government hid behind a children's charity by letting it take the fall for their political decisions.
Madam Clerk, I wonder if that has been emailed to the witnesses. I'd ask that the witnesses, if you have it handy there, that you read it into the record.
Mr. Chair, that was not provided to us.
I believe it was provided to your lawyer, but we will just do that.
Mr. Chair, it was not provided to our lawyer.
It's been sent, Mr. Chair. Just now.
It has been sent. Very good.
Are you suggesting we go check our emails if it was just sent right now?
That would be probably the most efficient way to do this.
Phone, excuse us. Continuing, at 2:36 p.m. It was sent and received.
Very good. Could we have you read that into the record now, gentlemen?
I, Mark Kielburger, do swear the evidence I shall give on this examination shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God.
I, Craig Kielburger, do swear that the evidence I shall give on this examination shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
The charity's mission statement is simple. We make doing good doable. For the last 9 months, we have sought to be measured in our comments as the good of a children's charity has been destroyed by political crossfire. Today, we are taking a stand. We have been disappointed in the conduct of all...
Monsieur le Président, point d'ordre.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Point of order.
Thank you. This was highlighted before, and the request was given to the Kielburgers through their lawyer that they be provided with headsets so that they would that translation would be possible. I would ask the witnesses if it is possible to hook up your headset or some mechanism by which you would provide less echo.
We will speak closer to the mic, sir. We do not have our headsets. For the last 9 months, we have sought to be measured in our comments for the good of a children's charity, however, has been destroyed by political crossfire. Today, we are taking a stand. We have been disappointed in the conduct of all political parties in this matter. Because what was accomplished by educators and students in 7,000 schools is remarkable and deserves to be protected. Committee members will likely pay lip service to these achievements. They may claim not to be attacking these good works, but their political games have canceled many of these impacts, and they're jeopardizing the rest. But for anyone of any age who wants to build something, do things differently, who tries to innovate for good, it's going to make mistakes. And we've made our share. We've apologized. In the future, we will surely make more mistakes, and we'll apologize again. Hundreds of donors have shared with us they understand this model, and they agree that this is the responsible approach to community development. Donors give because the model is proven to end poverty in villages, and all the money goes to help children. However, perhaps for a lack of experience in giving to charity, we are bewildered that one member of this community irresponsibly compared this near universal charitable practice to fraud. Certain members of this committee have also advanced a false narrative that We Charity was trying to avoid answering questions. The truth is that months earlier, we had confirmed our willingness to come voluntarily to this committee to answer all questions. This was in addition to voluntary testimony before the Finance Committee on the same issue for a record 4 hours, more than anyone who's testified, for example, even about COVID. A week prior to our appearance, Mr. Angus wrote on Member of Parliament letterhead to demand police and income tax investigations of We Charity. And clearly showing the political purpose of his actions, he announces this on Twitter. And his letter was immediately leaked to the press to generate headlines. Imagine the NDP calling in the police for clearly political purposes on a children's charity. Mr. Angus knew he'd get headlines while making it hard for the charity to defend itself. And let's be clear, This forum doesn't give We Charity or us the legal protections guaranteed to Canadians. Politicians are not impartial. Without recognizing our right to present our own evidence, this committee is trying We Charity in the court of public opinion and forcing testimony. One member of Parliament, Mr. Poilievre, even threatened us with imprisonment before a summons was issued. Members of Parliament often speak of their privileges, and you just did a few moments ago. So that all Canadians understand what you're referring to, the legal term absolute privilege means members of Parliament can say anything they want, no matter how malicious and false. Canadians are powerless to hold members of Parliament accountable for falsehood. And then on social media and conventional media, they will share these statements and these false accusations. Over the past 9 months, many falsehoods have circulated about We Charity and those associated with it. Lies and innuendo have been spread about me, my brother, our families. Not even our 80-year-old parents have been spared. Trying to respond to the tsunami of misinformation, we asked leading Canadian forensic accountants to conduct a thorough review to determine if there was anything improper arising from our relationship between us, our families, or Me social enterprise. To be clear, no one asked us to do this, and we welcomed this inquiry from non-political experts. We provided everything the auditor asked for, from our personal finances to real estate. The forensic accountants concluded, and I quote, "We did not identify any concerns in relation to the interactions between We Charity and Me social enterprises, and we found no evidence of improper transactions which benefited the Kielburgers personally." MPs have now demanded or initiated 9 different inquiries relating to We Charity. The Standing Committee on Finance, the Standing Committee on Process and House Affairs, the Standing Committee on Ethics, the Commissioner of Official Languages, the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commissioner, the Privacy Commissioner, the Commissioner of Lobbying, and thanks to Mr. Angus, now potentially the RCMP and the CRA. And to this day, no Conservative member of Parliament has apologized for the hate or the harm they've caused. When your sole talking point is you've got the power, you betray indifference to using it responsibly. The charity is entitled to fairness and respect for its rights. If Mr. Angus had not changed the rules at the last minute, Craig and I would be here on our own as originally planned. Mr. McDowell is here to protect the interests of the charity because of Mr. Angus's actions. Although Canadian politics have canceled We Charity in Canada, in countries like Kenya, the endowment will be set up and will continue to help children for generations. Here's a simple fact. Given a chance to do good for 100,000 students and other charities during the pandemic, We Charity agreed to help. That's what charities do. They help where that is needed. We didn't advise the Prime Minister and Mr. Bono not to recuse themselves. We never prorogued Parliament. We're not involved in the decision to filibuster the committee this fall. This is a political scandal for the government, not We Charity. The government hid behind a children's charity by letting it take the fall for their political decisions. And the opposition allowed them. Not a single member of Parliament has spoken up for the millions of Canadian children around the world who benefited from this organization. Will you please? So let me ask you, after a year of political games, what's been the result? What have you accomplished? March is the 1-year anniversary of the WHO declaring a pandemic. Hundreds of thousands of Canadian kids will once again need employment this summer. Where's the replacement program for youth opportunity? Who among you have developed a better plan to match nonprofits in the volunteer sector they so desperately need? How has Canadian youth and any of this made them, as young people in Canada, more likely to serve or more likely one day to go into politics? It's easy to tear down irresponsibly. It's, however, difficult to build and much more difficult to replace what you destroyed. Winston Churchill warned that some people's idea of free speech is they are free to say what they like, but if anyone else says anything back, that is an outrage. Just as Churchill predicted, some of you may be outraged that we point out the politics at the root of all this. If today is anything like our committee appearance 9 months ago, you will make your speeches, denounce us, ask your questions, answer them yourself, and then ignore our answers. And as you do, we will think of the remaining dedicated staff pouring heart and soul into doing good, like operating a hospital at a secondary school in Kenya